Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Hannah Mollison. I am the Sales Director here at Workwell Outsourcing, and this is my first podcast back since the new year, so I'm really excited to be here. And today we will be discussing the Firefish and Evertime integration and the importance of having a seamless tech stack. So this webinar or podcast is part of our educational series from the Workwell Outsourcing Academy, specifically for recruitment agencies to support their growth, provide value and industry insights. And all of our previous webinars and podcasts are available on our Spotify or YouTube. So if you'd like to catch up on anything, there's some really valuable episodes there. So I would advise you to go and take a look. And for those of you who don't know who the Workwell Group are, we are the UK's biggest service provider for recruitment agencies. So from funding, tech to outsourcing to international, employer of record and UK umbrella. Our goal is essentially to enable agencies to focus on their core business of recruitment while we handle all of the key operational functions. So as I said, today is my first podcast back, and I am joined by David Connolly from Firefish. David, thanks so much for joining me today.
No, thanks, Hannah. Thanks for having me on.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. I must say the weather is much better in Glasgow today. I didn't have to defrost my car this morning, so yeah, that was really good.
What temperatures are we looking at in Glasgow?
Oh, the temperature just now, it will be probably about 2 or 3 degrees, but
oh, wow.
At least it's positive.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot colder than London. I think we might be about 7, maybe between 5 and 7 degrees now, so it's warmed up quite a lot here. might have to get my swimsuit out soon if it carries on. So David, do you want to just first of all give the audience a bit of an introduction to yourself and your background and your experience, and also maybe a bit about Firefish?
Firefish, yeah, I'll do that. So let's say I'm David. I'm the head of partnerships for Firefish. So I work with great companies like Workwell, really to help bring the benefits of their services to our users as well, and make sure that our users have a tech stack in place that's all talking to each other, that's eliminating any data gaps, and they're able to really access and make the most of their data and use that to drive efficiency and increase profitability. So my background, I used to be a recruiter many moons ago now in the oil and gas industry. So the importance of having really efficient pay and bill processes for temps is something that I'm really aware of, and I've felt a lot of the pain that we're going to be talking about solving today. So Firefish just celebrated their 15th birthday at the start of the year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're a recruitment CRM that's really grown out of the frustration of having lots of different bits of technology that doesn't talk to each other. So, for example, you've got your job boards that aren't not automatically adding your candidates into your CRM. People are going, they're sourcing candidates that are already there. They're not using the data that they have in place. They're not, the CRMs at the time when we were founded, we were finding, people weren't engaging with them. They weren't seeing the benefits of the CRM. So they weren't using that, and then when we start seeing coming out the other side, that causes real reporting challenges when CRM isn't being used efficiently. So then the business can't make the right decisions. They can't make those decisions quick enough.
Okay, brilliant. So today we're going to be discussing the Evertime and Firefish integration, and I thought a good place for us to start would be the Future of Recruitment Industry report that Firefish published. And a section of that report looked at what agencies are prioritising over the next 12 to 24 months. And a few things that came up that were of high importance were admin processes, data management and reporting, all of which is extremely important and quite often really impacted by the tech stack and the integrations within a recruitment business's tech stack. So shall we just start and discuss why a seamless connection between a tech stack, and whether that be Evertime and Firefish, but also just in general, why that seamless connection is so important to agencies?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've, as you've alluded to, just released our Future of the Recruitment Industry report. So every year we do a survey of the industry towards the end of the year, and then we get a really good indication of what recruiters are focused on for the year ahead, how they're feeling about the year, what areas are looking to focus on, and when we ask them, what processes that they're looking to apply technology to enhance, 57% look at admin processes, 61% said database management, and 54% said analytics. And that all comes down to not looking at technology as a way of replacing the human interaction. It's about actually using the technology to free up the time to remove that admin burden from recruiters, so they have more time to focus on human interaction with clients, candidates, and really make the most of that. And I think the WorkWell integration we have, that we'll tell you a bit more about, really helps do that by not having to sit and do admin once you've done a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, another thing is the accuracy of the data. So you have a single point of truth, and that data will flow through to, well, starts by inputting it into your front office system, i.e. Firefish. It will then automatically and seamlessly flow through into your middle office system, i.e. Evertime, and then ultimately into your back office system, maybe your accounting software, Xero, Sage, whatever it might be. So it's also saving time and saving, I guess, administrative burdens from the finance team, the operations team, because they have a single point of truth and there's no duplication of data, which then also avoids errors.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're not having any copying errors, you're not having any data that's missed off. So when you set up your compliance and Firefish, you're going to make sure that compliance that you've set in Firefish, that compliant data is going all the way through your process. And it really is going to help you as a recruiter improve your candidate and client relationships, because you're not ever going to have a client or a candidate coming back to you with an error. And when it comes to paying your candidates and billing your clients, errors on that are really serious for the relationship. If you get someone's wages wrong, or or you charge a client too less or too much, you need to go cap in hand.
Yeah.
So it's all about kind of removing those real challenges that can really affect the business.
Yeah, and as much as we like to think we're all perfect and we don't make any mistakes, data duplication and having to re-enter data leaves any business open to error in that data re-entry. It is, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll probably be actually accurate most of the time, but most of the time it's not good enough nowadays. People are expecting, their data to be accurate, and the digital age all the time. And it removes that stress, it removes that worry.
Yeah, and I think as well, the other element that comes into the data being accurate is that everything is then auditable. And as we know, audits are becoming more and more important, and being able to track your data and when it was inputted and if any changes were made. And then I guess that goes right the way through to the financial reporting and that being accurate as well. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think looking at ways to improve reporting is really important for recruiters. Last year, they found the market challenging. The way it looks this year, I think it'll be another challenging year. And having that reporting so the businesses can make the right decisions, they can make the accurate decisions, and they can make quick decisions, is going to become more and more important to agency owners.
Yeah, definitely. I think something that we're finding coming up more and more as well, and this is kind of, I guess, talking about why tech stack is so important, but also why seamless integration is so important. We're coming across agencies that have numerous systems that could be consolidated, and it's costing the agencies more. It's meaning more work for them. Some of the systems aren't integrated. So again, having that seamless integration just makes how efficient the agency is much better, and their efficiency much better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've looked at tech stacks, and on average, you're looking at between 35 and 40 different bits of technology. Average recruitment agency.
Yeah.
It's quite stunning when you look at that. and the numbers, and if they aren't working, you have so much technology in the agency, if they're not working together, you're going to start having gaps between systems. Things are inputted one place and not input somewhere else, so your data is not marrying up. And that's when you start having errors and inefficiencies in the business.
Yeah, I think it's all important to highlight, reviewing your tech stack and any system within your recruitment business. It's going to be a big change for the staff that are using it. Obviously, a big change in terms of the project that will be in place to implement these systems, the data transfer. But it is important for recruitment agencies to review these. I mean, us, for example, I can speak from an Evertime perspective. There's some large agencies that we have dealt with whereby we've saved them anything up to about £50,000 a year by reviewing that tech stack and consolidating their systems. So and again, for the Firefish and Evertime implementation, there'd be a project plan put together. We would handle all of the implementation, but I guess I do empathise with recruitment leaders at the thought of going through such a huge project. It can be quite daunting.
No, absolutely, and it's all about making sure that you're supporting the business. You get a clear idea the objectives of what you're looking to do when you're migrating any system, and you're taking the business on the journey of migrating that. I think with Evertime, the benefits to the end users as well are really obvious. It's one of the things I absolutely hated when I was a recruiter. So I did a deal. Oh yeah, well done, you've done a deal. Right, okay. Now I need to get all the finance stuff over.
Get all the admin done on the background.
Checking. I was back in the days where we were faxing passports and whatnot to each other.
Really? Wow. You don't look that old, David. So
yeah, it was quite a while ago now. But yes, so yeah, being able to remove any kind of admin burden from recruiters is really, they're going to welcome that. And then, the benefits we've already spoken about to the business. It's just making sure that you're communicating that throughout the business when you're moving across. And then, yeah, as you say, having a good implementation plan following that, and then being able to, we've moved we've got our own migration team in-house that will do all your data migration if you're moving to Firefish, and it's having that experience, having that plan and that confidence to share with your customers as well is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think, right, if you're dealing with any new software partners in any area of your recruitment business, if you start to feel uncomfortable from the offset that maybe there isn't a project plan in place or a project manager handling your implementation data transfer, then perhaps it might be worth thinking if it's definitely the software partner that you want to move forward with. But yeah, so as you said, from our perspective, everything would be managed by a project manager, and we'd like to make sure that agencies are comfortable with the process that we're going to follow, and make sure they're on board with it and they understand the deadlines that we're going to meet. And from our side, they would have a project manager that would handle all of those milestones with them and have various different meetings throughout the implementation process. So
excellent. And from our perspective as well, any of our users moving onto Evertime, we'll have our team, they'll be aware of that. They'll be able to support you from the Firefish side and make sure that anything that you need to do on Firefish, you're supported in doing that to make that work.
Yeah, brilliant. Should we talk about the day-to-day function of completing the process within Firefish and then obviously picked up by Evertime?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's super simple though, isn't it, Hannah? Yeah, you put the placement through on Firefish, and the data goes into Evertime, and it creates your candidate and your placement on Evertime for them to pick up and do what you do on the pay and bill side. It's really as simple as that. Once it's set up, it just works. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's it. So the data gets inputted into Firefish. and then it pulls through into Evertime, depending if the customer has Evertime as a SaaS product. Obviously, it'd be then picked up by the payroll team, or if they are utilising our full outsourced pay and bill service, obviously it gets picked up by our teams internally, and all of the payroll will be processed. But it is as straightforward as that, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it's all about, we don't want to make the process harder by applying technology. You've got the data in the Firefish, it needs to go to Evertime, so we just send it, we don't do anything except press a button to make a placement.
Yeah, and I think something that's really nice about the integration, which you don't see often in the marketplace, is that the system can manage online timesheets. So obviously with the integration, Evertime is going to manage the online timesheets, but it all comes through seamlessly into Evertime.
No, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things when we are talking to agencies about this that they're looking for these days is, trying to reduce that tech stack. So they don't want a separate pay and bill system, a separate timesheet system. They want something that can do the whole piece. So yeah, I think that's one of the very attractive things about Evertime is you can do that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think having this kind of integration, we've kind of touched on this already, but it's not only appealing to business leaders, as you said, your experience as a consultant, the worst part of your job was the admin that you had to do after making a placement. So it appeals to not only business owners, but consultants and also finance. So it's kind of a one-stop shop that should hopefully make everyone's lives much easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, it removes that from recruiters. One of the big things that we see when we work with new clients is, on average, we help reduce their operating costs by 15% by removing, that kind of burden of admin, making sure that you've got the accuracy in data, because that's going to cost you money if you get that wrong. If somebody's getting overpaid, they might not always be honest. If you put the number in, for example, making sure that you're not, you're freeing the consultant. We really want to free the consultants to do the revenue generating activities, and I think that's what the future of the recruitment report's saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, how long would it take to send something over to a finance team in an email and double check it? Maybe half an hour if you have any challenges. But then that frees you. So you've made your placement, you're going to be riding in a high. Now that's when you want to get on the phone to other candidates and clients, because you're going to have a good energy about you to do that. So yeah, it's all about freeing recruiters to do exactly that. And
I think saving admin time by 50% is huge, and that's not just time. That's resource. There's cost involved in that. And like you say, for consultants who actually focus on recruiting and revenue generating activities is so important. And I do feel like it's so easy to get bogged down by administrative tasks that it does take your focus away on what you're actually there to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. It allows them to focus on the job in hand, and the job that they love doing as well. Recruiters, no recruiters are going to tell you, yeah, I hate the talking to clients and candidates and doing deals and booking interviews, but yeah, see that finance handover. That's why I get up in the morning.
yeah. For that admin. David, are there any specific industry, or even more specifically roles, that you think the integration is helpful for?
Yeah, I think it's particularly great for any of your roles that are really high paced. So, things like the construction trades and labour, your electricians, your labourers, your, any kind of skilled trade like that. Firefish handles those roles really well on our side, from attracting those candidates and engaging those candidates. And those are the candidates that are really going to be time sensitive to get across and get moving in finance, because it's not, usually you don't find you get like a huge, weeks or months long lead up period for all them to start the role. So, it's important for recruiters to move fast from a candidate experience. As well, any of your kind of temporary contracting roles, particularly like engineering, anything like that.
Yeah, and likewise, Evertime as well lends itself really well to any kind of shift work, really. So, like you say, construction, engineering, healthcare as well. So, yeah, the partnership is very well matched, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's it's a really good fit.
David, is there anything else with regards to the integration or the process that you think would be worthwhile for the audience, or anything that we haven't discussed that you think is important?
I think we've covered it off really well, Hannah. And yeah, I think by leaving it at that, we just show, it's really simple, this integration. It is, once it's set up, and we're going to hold your hand through the process of setting it up. It's as simple as hitting the placement button. So you're not even doing anything different. And then it's removing that admin burden and allowing you to do all the great things that Evertime and Workwell can do for your business and the middle office side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. A single source of the truth that should save a lot of time and resource for recruitment businesses. So thanks everybody for listening. If you have any queries or any questions, or you'd like to find out more about Firefish or Evertime and the integration, you can either reach out to myself or David on LinkedIn, or you can submit a request via support through your account manager for both Evertime and Firefish. So please do get in touch if you have any questions at all. David, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been lovely to catch up with you.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. And I will be back next week. Our next podcast, we are going to be discussing the pending increases in national employers' national insurance and ways that recruitment businesses can protect their profits. So join me for that. I'll be joined with our finance director, Matthew Jacks, and also our MD, Eve Bitzmana. David, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening.